Khan Shalom Akim. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of great Millstone who teach and rule well. Shalom to the sincere Akims, furnish truth and sincerity. Shalom. Like I mentioned, in my previous video, um, that I wanted to also go into, the siege of Jerusalem and us as a nation fleeing into the wilderness, which, that wilderness refers to the land of Africa, which happened, around 70 AD. So, willing, this lesson is going to be edifying, and I want to start off in Luke chapter 21 and verse 20. This is Luke chapter 21, verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. This is Yahawashi speaking. When Yahawashi was on the scene, preaching the words for the Heavenly Father, he spoke something concerning what would happen in the future, which referred to the siege of Jerusalem, which took place, around 70 AD. This is Luke chapter 21, verse 21. That let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. So he said, when you see these things happening, flee into Africa. That's what he was referring to when he said, then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains. Those mountains refer to the land of Africa. Verse 22, for these be the day of vengeance, payback, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. Because the Most High, he was not pleased with, how we behaved ourselves, in his eyes. So he sent judgment upon our people. And basically what happened is he just, through the spirit and power of Yahawashi, Jerusalem was destroyed. We lost our temple, and eventually we as a nation, we lost our heritage, as it also says in Jeremiah 17, the 4th verse, but also in 2 Thessalonians, the 3rd chapter. So this is Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4, and thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. And this means that we would eventually lose, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, pertaining to us knowing that we are Israelites, to knowing the name of the Heavenly Father and His beloved Son. We would serve our enemies, which means that we would go into captivity, which happened. Why? Because we made the Most High very angry by not keeping His commandments and doing those things which were pleasing in His eyes. And these things would last for a very long time because, the Most High, He said that He would not cast us away. He said He would not cast us away, and that's something that you will understand through the spirit of Yahawashi, that the Most High did not do that until, certain requirements were met, the ordinances of the sky would depart and, certain things like that. But the Most High did make sure that we would lose our heritage, that we would lose the fact that we would know that we are the Israelites. And the Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, but also those that were scattered among the heathen nations that might look like the heathen nations, but whose lineage does go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob according to their father's seed line. You see, and the tribe that fled into Africa, those were, for the majority, that was the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Of course, the other tribes were scattered among those regions, and also among those that knew that they were Israelites. But the majority of those people that fled into Africa, was the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, the so-called Negroes, the Haitians, and what we in this day and age call the what is it? No, the West Indies. For instance, the Jamaicans, and the people like that. you know. uh, Second chapter. This is Second Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except the coming of falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. So here we're being besieged. We're being told not to be deceived by any means. Once you have received this truth, don't be deceived by the other philosophies, the ways that Esau is trying to basically deceive the whole world. You know, and that we should not be shaken in mind, as you can read at the verse above. Because before the second coming of Yahawashi, we as a nation would fall. But also that man of sin will be revealed, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man upon the earth. You see, so we should not be deceived. But the thing is, Esau was sent out to deceive the nations. You see, so Yaratazah, you remain in the truth. You found out that you were an Israelite. Pertaining to the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Um, so yeah, that was the point I want to bring out concerning us as a nation falling away. What happened to the other tribes is during the time of the Assyrian captivity. They were led away captive by the Assyrians, and eventually they went to what we know in this day and age as the Americas, which is also being referred to as Arsareth of Acharatazah, which means another land, which that land in this day and age is being referred to, as the land of America, North and South America. That's where the other tribes were residing, after the Assyrian captivity, all the way up to this day and age. But going back to Luke chapter 21 and verse 23, it says, "But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land and wrath upon these people." So here Yahawashi is saying, yeah, those people that have children and still give breast milk, destruction unto them. Because the time that will be upon the earth during the time of 70 AD was a time of great slaughter, you know. Um, it's a time of famine, distress. That's a time that you don't really want to have a child when you're trying to flee away, because the child might be able to give away your position. The child, if you're in a state of famine and you can't eat for a while and you don't have hope that you're going to eat, what you're going to do, you're going to eat your children. You're going to try to have a means of survival. So woe to them, destruction unto those that have that basically are pregnant or are having babies. This thing is coming back too, in this day and age during the time of Jacob's trouble. But there are those men and women that try to please the Heavenly Father to the best of their abilities. Their families and their children, going to be taken care of by the Heavenly Father. That's what the video went into, that I made earlier this week. You know, verse 24, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. These are people, they will be slaughtered, by the Roman army, and we also should be away led captive because they captured us and they put us into slavery, you know. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Because if you really look at history, you see that these, you know, um, Amalekites, these Ishmaelites, these Edomites, were always trying to fight, over the Holy Land. And these things would happen until their time of rulership should be fulfilled. Because once Yahawashi comes back for the second time, them trying to, occupy the Holy Land shall be done away with. Because when Yahawashi comes back, our nation is going to be established on top. We're going to have that first dominion, you know. which means we're going to be on top of all these other nations, with all the benefits that come with having that dominion. You see. So this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 15, which is another account to um, to explain what Yahawashi was talking about in Luke chapter 21 concerning the siege of Jerusalem. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stamped in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. You see, so Yahawashi here was referring to Daniel the 9th chapter, you know, and what was spoken by Daniel, basically what was written down by Daniel in the book of Daniel, the 9th chapter, is also a future prophecy that Yahawashi was referring to, which referred to the siege of Jerusalem. Verse 16, then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. See, yet again, let them which be in Judea, which is in the land of Israel, flee into the mountains, which refer to Africa. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of the house, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. See, so once you would see these things, don't try to grab a bag for survival, just flee because your life is at stake. Why would you take a chance, to grab anything out of your house if a Roman's army are trying to persecute you? Just leave, just go. Verse 19, and woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray that your flight be not in winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So Yahawashi spoke about the great tribulation coming, which refers to the siege of Jerusalem. So the first thing I want to do is I want to grab the siege of Jerusalem on the Wikipedia, and it says the siege of Jerusalem in the year 70 CE, which means the Common Era, which also being referred to as AD Anno Domini, was the decisive event of the first Jewish-Roman war, which there's no such thing as Jewish. You're either a Jew, which refers to, which is a shortened version of to refer to Judah, which that was what the southern kingdom was being referred to because they were the kingdom of Judah. The northern kingdom, on which the tribe of Ephraim, basically was the head of, they were being referred to as the kingdom of Israel. You know, so the reason they say Jewish over here is because the deception that's upon this earth is that those people that are in the earth, that are in the land of Israel right now, are the actual people that the Bible talks about being referred to as Israelites. But they themselves refer to themselves as Israelis, which that means an inhabitor of the land of Israel. When it says Israelites, the word ites, refers to basically a people or a nation. So the people of Israel, the nation of Israel. You see. So here they try to make it seem that this is referring to those people that claim themselves to be Israelites, when this actually goes into the Jews, the Israelites, starting off with the southern kingdom, which is the kingdom of Judah, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, in which the Roman army captured the city of Jerusalem and destroyed both the city and its temple, which that was being referred to as that that desolation, the desolation that Yahawashi was talking about, or what it talks about over here, the abomination of desolation. You see, the Roman army, led by future Emperor Titus, with Tiberius Julius Alexander as his second in command, besieged and conquered the city of Jerusalem, which had been controlled by Judean rebel factions in 66 CE, following Jerusalem riots of 66, when the Judean provisional government was formed in Jerusalem. The siege of the city began on April 14, 70 CE, 3 days before the beginning of the Passover that year. The Jews enjoyed some minor victories, one high point being when sappers, basically soldiers from the Adiabene, managed to tunnel under the city and set bitumen fires in the tunnel, which collapsed with the Roman siege engines falling into the crevices. The siege lasted for about 5 months. It ended in August 70 CE on, what's this? I'm not able to pronounce this Yiddish, but with the burning and destruction of the Second Temple, the Romans then entered and sacked the lower city. The Ark of Titus, celebrating the Roman sack of Jerusalem and the Temple, still stands in Rome. The conquest of the city was complete on approximately September 8th, 70 CE. So this is still, something that's standing up until this day and age. Which when you look at it and you really see pictures, you really see how they ransacked, our temple and Jerusalem. You see. So going into the siege of Jerusalem, this is Daniel chapter 9, verse 25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth the commandments to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks. In 62 weeks the street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous time. In Daniel the ninth chapter, verse 25 to 27, we understand there are 70 weeks determined. Those 70 weeks that are determined are from the moment that the temple, the second temple is being rebuilt. The second temple is being built during the time of Nehemiah and Ezra under the Babylonians, by the commandment of Cyrus the Great. Um, well, basically, it was during the transition time. Um, yeah. So once Cyrus the Great, was in power, you know, um, after the Babylonians was taken down by the I say it by the um, Medo-Persian Empire. Cyrus the Great, he gave the decree to rebuild um, the second temple. You know, so it says, according to the Bible, the second temple was originally a rather modest structure constructed by a number of Jewish exile groups returning from the Levant, um, from Babylon, under the ecumenic appointed governor Zerubbabel. However, during the reign of Herod the Great, the second temple was completely refurbished. The original structure was totally overhauled into the large. That's not what I want. Yes, the accession of Cyrus the Great of the Achaemenid Empire, which is the Medo-Persian Empire, in 559 BCE, made the re-establishment of the city of Jerusalem and the rebuilding of the temple possible. Some rudimentary rituals sacrifice had continued at the site of the first temple following its destruction. According to the closing verses in the second book of Chronicles and the book of Ezra and Nehemiah, where the Jewish exiles returned to Jerusalem following a decree from Cyrus the Great, um, construction started at the original site of the altar of Solomon's temple. After a relatively brief halt due to opposition from peoples who had filled the vacuum during the Jewish captivity, work resumed circa 521 BCE under Darius and was completed during the sixth year of his reign, with the temple dedication taking place the following year. These events represent the final section of the historical narrative of the Hebrew Bible. So once once our people, were basically, taken from the Babylonian captivity, and once Cyrus the Great of the Medo-Persian Empire was in power, he gave the decree to rebuild the city. And you can find more information on that in the book of Ezra, Nehemiah, and second book of Chronicles. Um, so that basically took about um, 7 weeks, which those 7 weeks are not actual 7 weeks, but those refer to 1 week as a 7 years. Genesis 29 goes into that. Um, this is the account where Jacob is going to his uncle Laban from his mother's side, and he is basically looking for a wife amongst the amongst his own kin, and we find out that a week is referring to 7 years. Let me see. So this is Genesis chapter 29, verse 27. For her week, well, let me say the verse 26. And Laban said, "It must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn," because actually Jacob he preferred Rachel over Leah, but Rachel was the younger one, and Leah was the older one. So here he says, "It must not be done so in our country to give the younger before the firstborn." You see, which the firstborn was Leah, so she had to be given away first. So what his uncle did, he basically in the marriage chamber, that's where Jacob eventually find out after his marriage night that he lay down with Leah and not with Rachel, which he worked for Rachel 7 years. You see, verse 27: "For her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years." You see, for her week. That week refers to 7 other years. And Jacob did so and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel his daughter to wife also. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah his handmaid to be her maid, and went in also unto Rachel. And he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him 7 years. So like 7 other years. So that week is referring to 7 years. If we go back to Daniel, where it says, no, Daniel chapter 9, verse 25, "Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Messiah shall be 7 weeks, and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times." So the rebuilding of the temple took about 49 years, you know, and 62 weeks. That's about 434 years. That will be until Yahawashi basically will be upon the scene, do his ministry, and lay down his life for our people. You know. So it says, "And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off." You see, so after those 62 weeks, those 62 weeks, that's when Yahawashi will be cut off. That's when he would go on the cross, for our people, for the forgiveness of sins, you know, because it says, "But not for himself." For who did he go on the cross? He went on the cross for the nation of Israel. So could Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, but also those who were scattered among the heathen nations, that might look like the heathen nations, but whose lineage does go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob according to their father's seed line. You see? And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolation are determined. If you go to that word prince, because now you might think a prince, which is the son of a king, but if you look up the word king, which is Nagayat in the Hebrew, Satan is not working for me. So it says, outline of biblical usage, it says leader, ruler, captain, prince. So this is also referring to someone that's in an army and being a captain over that army. You see, man, Satan was really trying to keep this information from coming out. So it says, and after 3 square and 2 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, which that refers to the Roman army and their captain which was over them. Which that captain that was over them, you know, is, which we can read over here, the Roman army led by the future Emperor Titus, with Tiberius Julius Alexander as his second in command. So these were the, Titus was the one, that came and led the Roman army, and brought that destruction and destroyed the temple. It says, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined, because eventually the Romans army came, you know, Jerusalem was compassed with the Roman armies, and our people had to flee, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined. Verse 27, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and the determined shall be poured upon the desolate. Um, so what we as a nation did, we um, we made treaties or we made leagues with those people that were basically ruling over us. In this case, that's referring to the Romans. We made treaties with them in order, to be on their good side and basically reap the benefits of still being able to, have our temple sacrifice and, these things, which we can read in the Book of Maccabees. But I want to actually go into want to know was it's funny over here. It says political status under Israeli rule. Basically, those that are just inhabitants of the land. Sieges. I want to find out like destruction Jerusalem. Because we made leagues with these people, which that last week that's referring to Daniel the 9th chapter, verse 27. It's referring to 7 years. But in the midst of the week, he shall cause a sacrifice and the oblation to cease, which that referred to 70 AD. You know, but we can find out information concerning our nation making leagues with these other nations. This is First Maccabees chapter 8, verse 1. Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans. There is the time of Judas Maccabeus, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of amity with all that came unto them. So the Romans, they conquered countries and nations, and they were willing to accept those people. They made a league with them, and that they were men of great valor. They were mighty men. It was told him also of their wars and noble acts which they had done amongst the Galatians, and how they had conquered them and brought them under tribute, and what they had done in the country of Spain for the winning of the mines of the silver and gold which is there, and that by their policy and patience they had conquered all that place, though it were very far from them, and the kings also that came against them from the uttermost part of the earth, till they had discomfited them, and given them a great overthrow, so that the rest did give them tribute every year. See, so they overthrew countries and nations, you know. Besides this, how they had discomfited in battle Philip and Perseus, um, king of the Chittims, with others that lift up themselves against them and had overcome them. Also Antiochus, the great king of Asia, that came against them in battle, having 120 elephants with horsemen and chariots and a very great army, was discomfited by them, and how they took him alive and covenanted that he had such as reigned after him should pay great tribute and give hostages, and that which was agreed upon. And the country of India and Media and Lydia, and of the goodliest countries which they took of him, and gave to King Eumenes. Moreover, how the Grecians had determined to come and destroy them, and that they, having knowledge thereof, sent against them a certain captain, and fighting with them slew many of them, and carried away captives, their wives, and their children, and spoiled them, and took possession of their lands, and pulled down their strongholds, and brought them into their servants unto this day. It was told him besides how they destroyed and brought under their dominion all other kingdoms and isles that at any time resisted them. But with their friends, such as relied upon them, they kept amity, and that they had conquered kingdoms both far and nigh, insomuch as all that heard of their name were afraid of them. So these Romans, they were really getting down upon this earth during that time. They were taking control, of these nations, and those that were willing to get in league with them, they were at peace with those people, But those that really wasn't at peace with them, they overthrew them anyway. And also that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reign, and whom against they displace, finally that they were greatly exalted. Yet for all this, none of them wore a crown or was clothed in purple to be magnified thereby, because they didn't rule, with a kingship. They had more of a how you say it, um, more like a democracy going on. They had back in those days with the patricians and the plebeians, which is relatable to what we have in this day and age as the left wing or the right wing parties, or better known as the publicans and Democrats. You know, Moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting all way for the people, to the end they might be well ordered. So they had a senate house, and in this day and age we have a senate house as well. It shows you that we are living right now also under the revived Roman Empire, which was that deadly wound that was healed. You know, and that they committed their government to one man every year who ruled over all their country, and that all were obedient to that one, and that there was neither envy nor emulation amongst them, which that basically refers to a president, or in their case it was a Caesar. In consideration of these things, Judas chose Eponymus, the son of John, the son of Achaz, and Jason, the son of Eleazar, and sent them to Rome to make a league of amity and confederacy with them, and to entreat them that they would take the yoke from them, for they saw that the kingdom of the Grecians did oppress Israel with servitude. They went therefore to Rome, which was a very great journey, and came into the senate, where they spake and said, Judas Maccabeus with his brethren, and the people of the Jews, have sent unto you, to make a confederacy and peace with you, that we might be registered your confederates and friends. So that matter pleased the Romans well, and this is the copy of the epistle which the Senate wrote back again in tables of brass, and sent to Jerusalem, that there they might have by them a memorial of peace and confederacy. Good success be to the Romans and to the people of the Jews by sea and by land forever. The sword also and enemy be far from them. If there come first any war upon the Romans or any of their confederates throughout all their dominion, the people of the Jews shall help them, as the time shall be appointed with all their heart. See, so right now certain rules, the way that they're gonna make a league is being laid down before us right now. Neither shall they give anything unto them that make war upon them, or aid them with victuals, weapons, money, or ships, as it had seemed good unto the Romans. But they shall keep their covenants without taking anything therefor. In the same manner also, if war come first upon the nation of the Jews, the Romans shall help them with all their heart, according as the time shall be appointed them. Neither shall victuals be given to them that take part against them, or weapons, or money, or ships, as it had seemed good to the Romans, but they shall keep their covenants, and that without deceit. According to these articles did the Romans make a covenant with the people of the Jews. You see, so this is an example of what our nation did, with those that basically had dominion over us, you know. So during the time around 70 AD, these Romans, had a certain dominion over us, and halfway those 7 years that approximately lasted from 66 AD to around 73 AD, halfway that week, that covenant was being broken, you know. You see, so that covenant was broken, and then, the Jerusalem, the temple were ransacked and destroyed. You see, so when these things happened, our people they fled into Africa. That's what I want to go into right now. So this is Revelation chapter 12 and verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And this is referring to the nation of Israel, because the sun, the moon, and those 12 stars, if we go back to Genesis 37, we understand through the dream that Joseph had that this is referring to the nation of Israel. This is Genesis chapter 37 and verse 9. And he dreamed yet another dream. So Joseph had another dream and told it his brethren and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. And he told it to his father and to his brethren. And his father rebuked him and said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to the earth? So here we understand those that the moon and the sun were referring to um, Jacob and uh, is it Jacob and their mother basically. Um, and those stars refer to the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. You see, and eventually they did bow down to Joseph because through Joseph, we were brought up into Egypt. We were brought up in Egypt. We as a nation we grew there, and that all happened through the sufferings that Joseph went through um, by being basically put into um, you know some kind of slavery, and eventually he was rising up the ladder and was the second greatest of Egypt. You know, so that bowing down to them basically represents that they were respecting Joseph eventually. Another precept to back down up that woman is referring to Israel. So like yeah, this is Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 2. I've likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman, which the daughter of Zion refers to Israel. So we're being referred to as a comely and delicate woman, a very beautiful woman. Revelation chapter 12, verse 2. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. Because there will be a prophecy that, a child will be born, that, would eventually, will be Yahawashi. We were waiting to be delivered as a nation from the trials and tribulations and the anguish and the judgments that came upon us because of what we did, not listening to the words of the Heavenly Father. So we really were we were pained during those times, and we really wanted, the Messiah to come. You see, so this is referring to Yahawashi, being born and coming upon the scene, and through him delivering our people, receiving that salvation through him. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. This is referring to the Roman Empire, and it still drew a third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour a child as soon as it was born. And that third part is referring to, the one-third part of the nation of Israel, which that's referring to Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, who were still in the land of Israel during that time. You know, Herod the Great, he knew about the King of the Jews being born. So what did he do? You know, he tried to kill all those that were of a certain age, that he might destroy the Messiah. Who was for to come to deliver his people. You see, verse 5. And she brought forth a man child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto the Most High into his throne. And this is talking about Yahawashi, who eventually was being born, and it was prophesied already that he would be the ruler, you know, the future ruler upon his earth, being the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. You see, eventually, through his after his ministry, he was put on the cross by the Romans, um, and eventually he's sitting right now on the right hand side of the Most High, making intercession for us. You see. Verse 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of the Most High, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. So we know that the woman is referring to the nation of Israel. They fled into the wilderness, which that wilderness refers to Africa. Why Africa? Well, back in the days, when Yahawashi was still a child, and was still uh, they were being told like flee into Egypt. Um, so when Yahawashi was still so when they were espoused, and with child, they were being told by the angel to flee into Egypt. They were eventually being told to go into Egypt. Where is that? And why was that? Yeah, yeah, you see? So when Yahushua was still young, they had to flee into Egypt. This is Matthew 2 and 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord Yahawah appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. We understand through the scriptures that the children of Israel are dark skinned people. You know, the time of Egypt, when they were being told to go there, they were being told to go there because they were able to mix in with those people there. Because the original Egyptians were actually Sudanese people, you see, which are dark skinned people too. So by going into Egypt, you know, we as a nation, eventually fleeing into Africa, you know, we will be able to hide amongst those people. Of course, we're not the same. We don't look the same. We don't have the same spirit. So those actual Hamites, they were able to distinguish who they were and who we were. But for an outsider such as these Edomites, They have a hard time uh, differentiating between who is who and what is what. It's the same thing that a Chinese and a Japanese person are able to distinguish themselves. I'm Japanese, he's Chinese, and so forth. But for an outsider, it's like you look the same. So we were fleeing into the wilderness because we were able to hide ourselves among those dark-skinned Hamites. You see, um, and Revelation 12 and 6 again. And the woman fled into the wilderness, which is Africa, where she had the place prepared of the Most High, that they should feed her there 1,203 square days. And the place prepared of the Most High is referring to America, because eventually our people were being brought from the west coast of Africa, and where the majority of our people settled down after the destruction of the temple and of Jerusalem. Um, we were being put in slavery around 1619, and it says that they should feed her there 1,203 square days. Well, if you calculate that time, that's roughly 350 years. It comes up to 350 days, but it's parabolically speaking about 350 years, which that is the time from 19, it's like 1619 all the way to 1917, because that's the time that the Most High raised up Ababivans, and the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahawashi Yahawashi would come back to our people from that day on. You see, so that place prepared the Most High is referring to America, that they should feed her there 1,203 square days. That's referring to the time of slavery, because they had to feed us. They had to make sure that we were able to produce for them the labor that they basically put us to. You know, the cotton fields, and whatever else they did, trying to build up America, because America is built upon the backs, of the Israelites. You know, so this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord Yahawah shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. You see, so the Most High here says, I'm going to bring it into Egypt again. Egypt, if you go to Exodus chapter 20, we come to the understanding that that's referring to slavery. Exodus chapter 20, verse 2, I am the Lord Yahawah thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. To be in bondage means to be in slavery. So here the Most High is basically saying, I'm going to bring you into slavery again, but this time with ships. If you look at the way that the um, that the Israelites that were taken from the west coast of Africa were being brought to America, that was by ways of ships, during the transatlantic slavery. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, yeah, because the Most High warned us that this would happen if we would not listen to his words. Thou shalt see it no more again. You would not see the land of Israel, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. See, so in the land of America, we would eventually be sold as slaves to our enemies. And no man shall buy it, which means no man would redeem us from that situation. The only one that would eventually redeem us, is Yahawashi, who's coming back in the near future. You see, when he's coming back, he shall not meet our enemies as a man. You see, this is Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 16. Know that thus said the Lord Yahawah, of the king that sitteth upon the throne of David, and of all the people that dwelleth in this city, and of your brethren that are not forth gone with you into captivity. So if you look at the way that the transatlantic slavery took place, a majority of our people were put on ships and brought to the Americas. But also when you still look at this day and age, a lot of people, a lot of Israelites are still in the west coast of Africa because not all the Israelites, went into captivity that took place in 1619. You see, this is Revelation chapter 12, verse 14. And to the woman were given two wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. You see, so this is referring to our people fleeing into Africa and eventually um, being brought to the Americas. You see, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And this goes hand in hand with a book being called From Babylon to Timbuktu, in which it describes how the Roman armies laid siege of Jerusalem and our nation fleeing into Africa, being persecuted and being followed by the Roman army, slaughtering our people, but also putting our people into slavery. You see, this is from Babylon to Timbuktu, page 84, and it says, in the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it had been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves. So this book also shows you that the Israelites, the Jews that were fleeing from the Romans, were dark-skinned people. So like the president of um, the president of Egypt once said, he says, oh, it's not, let me see. I'm gonna read it. People can look it up themselves. They can see what I typed in to to look it up. But it says they left black. The war for Israel. When he was asked about peace in the Middle East, the late president of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser, stated, the Jews will never be able to live here in peace because they left here black but came back white. So the president, which lived uh, years ago, he says that the people that are in the land of Israel right now will never be able to live here in peace. They will never be able to create peace upon this earth. Why? Because they're not the real people that the Bible talks about when being referred to as Israelites. He says they left here black but came back white. Why? Because the actual Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, but also those that were scattered among the heathen nations that might look like heathen nations. But his lineage does go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob according to their father's seed line, who were spread upon the four corners of the earth due to the curses being poured upon our nation. You see, so hey, Yahawashi, this lesson was edifying, and I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of great Millstone who teach and rule well, and shalom to the sincere Archians, brings truth and sincerity.